Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to What's Map, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. I'm BonBonB and you're very, very welcome. Right, today we're going to have a look at a creator we have done just the once in the past. That was episode 1409, where they got a very solid and commendable 10 stars for their very first map. That was a real-life location in Germany, and we are staying in Germany for another real-life location. This one feels slightly more accomplished, although I would say feels more like a caricature of the area. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing, because when you get a map that's absolutely precise, you feel that you have to do an exact one-to-one replication. This particular map, it doesn't feel that way at all. It feels like it's a nod to the location, and a pretty real nod to the location, while without having to really constrain yourself to being a true one-to-one creator. Am I making any sense? I know I very, very rarely make any sense, but it looks like it should be a fun build. Now, there are other fun things you can do with your time. Here's one of them. That's right, wafting a card in the air and holding up your thumbs is a massive way of having fun. There are other ways, I'm sure you can think of one right now. Today's map is Nordlingen by StrategicGamer, formerly known as Kaiser. They changed the name because they weren't keen on the name Kaiser and the way it sounded, and I would approve of the name change. There's your start square. There is definitely a feature in that start square, which is covered in the description on why you probably want to delete it. Terrain heights, we've got plenty of buildable space on this map. Resources, the more you get away from the middle of the map, the bigger the fields get, and the easier it is to have a dedicated industry area. And then we have a river running through, which isn't really for fishing, really, is it? It's not really. If you've got Sunset Harbour, is it really? After the workshop, what do we need? It's a mass transit map. You will need mass transit for this one, along with the Bridges and Piers DLC content creator pack. Definitely worth having that anyway, regardless. There's a list of requirements on the right. We'll be using a mix of the Stray Cats Territory Homecoming theme, along with the Farmland Europe and also Not So Rocky European for the atmosphere, which is an unusual combination. And I kind of approve. I think I would have liked to have seen a one-click collection, though, including a pre-built theme mix. The theme mix wasn't so much of a bother because there are only 3 items in it, so it's fairly quick and easy to put together. But yeah, a one-click collection instead of all of those items, so you just got one click. Look at this river. Look at how dreamy it is. I'll talk about the river in a moment. But yes, a one-click collection would be helpful because there are quite a few things in there, and not all of them are the regular. A lot of things often in these maps are the same things, like the generic tree set and whatever. But there's a lot of very specific assets, like the roads. A number of these roads they're very nice roads, but they are the UK roads. I'm not going to show you the UK signs. There are UK signs on here. I guess not subscribing to that aspect of the pack would be probably a way of doing it. But yes, we're in Germany with UK signs. We'll just pretend that never happened, okay? Plenty to talk about anyway with today's map. The rivers are a little wider than in the real life. I think it has to be done that way because otherwise we'd just be looking at a stream in Cities Skylines terms, and its stream isn't really going to be workable. It's barely workable anyway in terms of water flow. We'll talk about water flow when we get to the second half of the show, but the rivers are, I would say, probably about the minimum ideal width for a river in Cities Skylines. Certainly not one for big ships. Maybe not even one for little ships. Maybe middle-sized ships. No, little ships would be fine. Anyway, so we've got these an unusual, very nice road mix that doubles as a UK anager. Imagine if the UK had invaded Europe in 1930. No, let's not imagine that. Let's not go down those paths. In fact, that's probably a bad thing for me to talk about given the current situation, and I take it all back. I'm sorry. I'm not going to re-record that. I'm just going to show how the mind can drift and people can say things and not really think about what they're saying and immediately be sorry about these things, and I'm sorry. Let's move on. We're not going to talk about this in the comments either. Fine, moving on. We've got some very nice road packs. There are one or two other problems other than the road signs being the wrong road signs. Because, listen, the road signs are easy enough to replace, aren't they? They're easy enough to replace. We've got, hang on, let's have a look at the intersection marking tool. Look at the, nice. I'm liking that. That's clean and ready. Possibly a bit brighter than the ready markings. Now we're down to an area where we have pavements. Now, I did mean to come back and show you the paving with the level crossing there. But because we have pavements there, the road is a little lower. I'll talk about that in a moment. Hang on a second. Because we're into the start square, we'll talk about that in a moment. Start square, we have the walled inner city of Nordlingen, which is majestic. One of the wonders of the world, I would say, actually, that it's still standing. And then we have this budgerigar, pretty Polly. I like this. Do you know what? I know it. I know some people will be saying, "Oh," and I know it already in the comments. Somebody was groaning, "I've got to remove these, and my system doesn't really deal with it." Yes, don't subscribe to the flowers, and that budgerigar will not appear. Gonna jump across the rail very briefly because you can see we've got some trees encroaching onto the line. The road and the rail layouts are pretty smart. I'm going to say they're pretty smart. I have no big problems with them. You'll notice that the rail, again, we've got potential level crossing here. Now here, we don't have sidewalks, and the level crossing is flush with the road, which is fine. We do have a street lamp growing out of the road. That's a little bit unusual. But yeah, we are flush with the road. But where we have the level crossings and sidewalks, we will have some catenary chaos in a minute. I'm trying to remember what I was going to talk about next. Catenary chaos. I'll get back to the sidewalk issue in a moment. I promise. A little bit of catenary chaos down here where the lines are merging. Now I have switched between all of the available catenaries for down here within the railway replacer mod, and none of them make any difference. I guess the answer is to basically not have catenaries, but then we're in Germany, so I've chosen the German ones. No blue mantle under there, which is good. Anyway, as I was saying about sidewalks, so when you have the sidewalk and the level crossing, the train goes through at ground level. The sidewalks actually push the road down a little bit to allow us to have a bit of a curb. Now, I know we've got the new curb mod that enables you to have different depths, but that is across the entire map. So what we have there is we've got the standard depth of curb, and then to cross the rail, you have to go up the slope and then back down the slope on the other side. And I did mean to go back and show, but I've completely, amongst everything else I wanted to record today, I completely forgot to go back. So I apologise for that, but that's a little talking point, if nothing else. It looks a bit weird when you're down there at ground level anyway. Loving this intersection as well. Yeah, jump across back to the roads, I think. I think we'll do that right now, because roads are... because the thing with the rail is we've seen most of the interesting parts of the rail there. There are other lines. In fact, there's a lot of lines and networking across the map, but not too much. It feels natural for the map. We quite often maybe grumble that there's too much in the way of networking, but this map feels that it's got about the right amount. In fact, I would say it's got a little bit too much in the way of roads, but I will point that one out very clearly and specifically which part I would delete in the second half of the show. Not that it's really going to be a sweat for many of you or any of you. I don't know what that was about. I have no idea what that was about. People driving through my living room honking their horns. It's ridiculous. This early hour. Anyway, I'm loving all of the networking on here. The intersection marking is of a decent standard, more than a decent standard, a very good standard. A little bit of a wonky entrance to the bridge there, but mostly very good work. Now, if I remember rightly, about here there should be, only because we won't be coming back to it later, there's the airport, because airports. Why would we not want to have a look at the airports? And anyway, so we've kind of kind of seen the standards. There are good standards on the map. Another nice bridge there, and we'll start heading off towards the edge of the map now. Yeah, pretty nice standards. Now it's a historic town. I'm going to call it a city. It's a town. It's a historic town, and if you do get a chance to check out on Google, have a look at the images of the old walls. I'll talk about them in the factoids because factoids, but the old walls are intact and they are remarkably well preserved considering their age. So definitely want to do a little bit of personal research on, or go and have a look, or let me know if you've actually been. Anyway, brief intermission, be right back after this.
Do you have thousands of mods and assets and find controlling them burdensome? Did you know that the workshop has a way of helping to control your subscription? Find out more with BonBonB's collections tutorial.
That's exactly what I recommend that StrategicGamer does in terms of putting together a one-click collection for this map. Anyway, back down to well, slightly above ground level. There's no shipping on this map, and quite rightly so. It would look dumb and it would be very awkward. There's a lot of low bridges. A lot of low bridges. We have air routes, a couple of crossing air routes, and this one I think takes us down to the airport. So let me have a little look-see. There it is. In fact, they both do. I'm not sure quite how the planes will circle to get down to that, but I would say air routes and an airport are definitely a winning combination. Water flow. It's not really a strong water flow. They accept this in the description, so you find a way around it. But if you want to play this vanilla, I would say it's just about workable. Just about. Personally, I do feel that despite the rivers being quite light and quite shallow, it was still workable to have a decent water flow through here. So that will come into play as we get to the end of the show and I do my ratings, because there is enough depth and width here to have moving water. Overall, let me show you the Google view. There's that. See how the fields are a lot squarer. Yeah. And they're more curved and bouncy, and that's what I mean by it's a caricature. Plus we have the big parrot in the mid. Sorry, I know it's not a parrot, but yeah, the big budgerigar. Bridges and piers. I'm distracted. There's so many things going on my screen at the moment. Yeah, I mean, yeah. First of all, buy the pack. Secondly, well used. Bought the pack and used it very well indeed. As with rivers, they're all very nice looking. I'm just wondering whether these mud banks in the middle here, whether they would have had some growth. We've got, I can see they've used the foliage, which is hovering just a little bit there. I think there probably would have been at least some grasses around there, or reeds or something. Just to fit it. But we are close to the edge of the map, so that probably is the least important place to worry about. I said we got a set of very nice roads going on, and if we drop down to road level, look at how nice this is. I mean, just stop for a moment. Just stop. And remember, this is a game that we've been playing for 7 years, and 7 years ago, if somebody showed you this and said, this is going to be the same game in 7 years' time, we would not have believed it. This is all down to content creators on the workshop, and wow. I mean, I'm not going to call out any names. I'm not going to call. There are just so many. But shall we take a right? Shall we take? Unfortunately, I was hoping there was going to be street sign here or a speed limit sign or something, but there isn't. Maybe level crossings was a better place to go to, but we're not going to do that. But anyway, that's very nice. But realism within what is a caricature kind of farmland area. Like in the hills as well, we've got a very strong tree coverage. We are using Tree Anarchy today. I didn't point that one out earlier. Something like 800,000 trees. There's quite a few trees. If you're gonna struggle if you've got a weaker PC with this one. Yeah, we've got the. I'm liking the field. This is the thing. I'm liking the field painting. I think it's been done very nicely. It just doesn't match with real life. And what, along with the big budgerigar, I think this all ties in together very nicely indeed. I'm all for it. Some very nice little bit of detailings here and there. I mean, this is four-star level detailing, including the intersection markings. I'm good with everything about that. That is very strong work. And then if we come over here, and I'm going to show you this. This for me is how they drew out the line of the trees that they were going to color in, like color by numbers, but color by trees. Now the thing is, with forests, there's a lot of wood in those forests, and there's definitely wood in this forest. Quick, turn the camera. There might be children watching. Anyway, just made me giggle when I saw that. There was an oopsie. Anyway, here is the one bit of road that I would delete. No, not that bit. Probably this bit here. Okay then. Now that might be there in real life. I haven't checked, but I suspect it was one of those tester bits just to see what it looked like, and then maybe forgot to delete it at the end. Maybe, or maybe it's there in real life. I'm not going to find out. I don't care. I don't care. It's fine. It's 2 clicks of the bulldozer, maybe even 1 click of the bulldozer. Anyway, back down to the start square, and we have got today's asset of the day. And this is the Plattenbau MLK-OF 1800 365G, numbers 1 to 3, and abandoned building. By MeisterMonis. That's one of them. This is the abandoned building, and while you're looking at these marvellous creations by MeisterMonis, I will do you factoids, because factoids. Nordlingen is a town in Bavaria, Germany. It's an old town. Its old town is encircled by well-preserved medieval walls with towers and covered parapet paths. The city centre is anchored by the massive Gothic St George's Church. The tower, called the Daniel, has views across the town. The town hall with its gabled roof and towers is one of several medieval buildings, some half timbered, on the main square. So yeah, if you're looking to grab a load of Titans assets and put together a classical German medieval town, this is going to be cool. However, if you want to put in loads of giant blocks of flats with prefab, then these are the assets for you. Plattenbau MLK-OF 1800 365G, numbers 1 to 3, plus abandoned building by MeisterMonis. Today's asset of the day. And that happens to be my phone number as well. You can try it. You'd probably be wasting your time though. Anyway, what do you think of today's map? Is it a 1-star map? Is it a 5-star map? Is it somewhere in between? Your vote really does count. We use it at the end of the month for the Viewer's Choice Top 10. Will this be one of the top 10 maps of the month? Only you can decide. Hit the I button now in the top right corner of your screen, or the link in the description. It'll take you to the voting page where you can vote for free with a Facebook, Gmail, Apple, or a Patreon account. But what do I think of today's map? Hello, Polly. Free Polly. What do I think of today's map? Well, aesthetically, you know what? I like this. I like this. It's certainly it's a decent recreation of the area whilst not being fantastic. You know, it's very good. You know what very good means? Very good means 4 stars, and there's nothing to mark it down on. And it does have some very strong 4-star areas, like that. That counts towards detailing as well. However, I'm gonna be honest with you. There are a number of issues with detailing. The UK roads are presenting all the UK signs. We've got issues with, I mean, like I say, the way the level crossing crosses the curved road and all that sort of stuff. And I feel that I kind of have to say it's a very high 3 stars. Gameplay is very good. I'm all in on this one. I'm going for a very high 4 stars. Yeah, just minor issue. I'd like to see stronger water. That's probably it. If it had stronger water, it'd be a 5th star. It's getting the BonBonB seal of approval, and that might surprise you, but that one feels exceptionally well done. Yes, you're probably going to want to delete the parrot. Probably. I would. And yes, if you want to delete it quickly, just don't subscribe to the roses and the flowers. Just don't. You don't need them. You can't see them at night anyway, can you? Anyway, if you're still here, you're part of the 20 and out elite. Use the word of the day in the comments. Score yourself some population points just for fun, and I'll be back tomorrow with another map in the What's Map series. Have a very good day, and I'll see you very, very soon.